Hello, welcome to How to Land a Job with a Criminal Background. If you're watching this virtually, we have folders that are available for you to pick up when you come into the building. Please feel free to ask for one. We will go over what's in the folders in just a couple of moments. Again, this is How to Land a Job with a Criminal Background. Anybody who's going through our program has something on their record. They do not have to have served any time behind bars, just to have something on their record from a simple summary offense, misdemeanor, felony, or pages of felonies. We will take those under supervision or those in recovery. The objectives of this workshop is for you to learn how to find support and resources, whether at CareerLink or within the local community. There are strategies for searching for a job and getting a job. There's a way to interview, a way to format your resume. We want to make sure that you leave here with some of those tips. We want to make sure that you know how to address questions pertaining to your arrests and convictions, whether you're filling out an application or in an interview, or gaps of employment in your resume. There is a program process. It's going to be displayed in a couple slides down the road. You'll also have those in that folder that I was talking about. Don't worry about writing anything down. We'll walk you and guide you through this if you have any questions. There are some perks to the reentry program. We'll go over those in a little bit as well. Hopefully you'll leave here with some direction and your next steps. And then there's labor market information. And what that means is we are going to give you information that is relevant to Lancaster County. We will take on those who live in Lancaster County. We try to get you employed in Lancaster County, work with employers from the Lancaster County area as well. But it's a good idea for you to know what the starting wage is, what the growth potential is, the top 10 employers that are hiring. If you want to do a little bit of homework, we've got some handouts for you in that folder as well. Again, here's that folder I was telling you about, the information that would be in there. So again, please kind of take a look at this. We're going to go over some of this in this presentation, but we will have all the handouts in that folder, and you're always more than welcome to stop by and pick that up. Why work with us? When we say we have a retention rate of 88%, what that means is we're doing a lot of work up front to make sure that we come up with a game plan for you that's going to work for you individually. This is not a one-size-fits-all, so we want to make sure that we're working with you, finding out what your skills and your interests are, and finding employment and a career path that you are passionate about versus just a job. Certainly we can get you just a job for now if we're going to go down the training route, but you're much happier if you find something that you're passionate about, and it makes your day go by a whole lot quicker. So we want to do a little bit of homework up front to make sure that we have a good fit for you as far as training, as far as employment, so that you stay with that employer. Every once in a while we have to leave. Maybe it didn't work out just right the first time, but you're always more than welcome to come back, revisit us, and then we can find an employer that might be a better fit for you. When we say we work with hundreds of employers, I literally mean hundreds of employers. There was at one point 300 employers that I was working with. So it's our job to find those employers that are going to accept the backgrounds that you may have. And we will ask those questions for you so that you don't have to continuously get the negative feedback that you have, I'm sure, encountered in the past as far as, oh, yes, we would like to hire you, however. And that background piece is always weighing in there. So we want to make sure that we're finding employers that are going to look at your skill set versus your background. So we do the homework and we work alongside you. If you have an employer that you might be interested in, please reach out to us and we'll tell you if we have a relationship with that employer or not. And then we can also try to develop a relationship with that employer as well. But let us do a little bit of the homework for you so that you don't spend your time filling out applications and going on interviews that are going to produce no results. Training opportunities. A lot of people think that CareerLink is just a temp service, and we are not a temp service. Temp services just get you a job and they send you on your merry way. We work with clients up front to make them the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. We'd like to go in there and advocate for you, with you, to employers, to training providers, and we do that by working alongside you and getting to know you so we can do that advocating for you. But in addition to the employment piece, we have funding opportunities. If you qualify for our funds, we can spend up to $10,000 per participant in a training opportunity. So you earn a certification so you have a career path versus just a job. Again, do a little bit of homework. We're going to help you figure out what's going to be a good fit for you as a person and what skills you currently have to bring to the table that we can capitalize on and increase and find something that you're going to enjoy, and you also get paid to do it. Career paths are going to produce a little more money in your pocket per hour, per paycheck. So again, you invest a little of the time and we will invest the money. But these are some types of our trainings that we offer. These are not all. We couldn't possibly list them all, but this is just a snapshot of the types of trainings that we offer. Again, we will sit down with you at some point and we will determine whether your background is going to be a good fit for maybe an industry that you might be interested in. Every once in a while, a background dictates that maybe we can't do plan A, but let's come up with plan B. Because sometimes those backgrounds do get in the way. But again, that's our job to help you figure that out. But this again is just to kind of show you and give you an idea of the types of trainings that we do offer. This is some of our training providers, not all of them. Again, just this little snapshot of some of the types of training providers that we work with. When we talk about a career versus a job, remember I talked about earlier, a career is going to produce more money per hour. An average employment rate after training is $18.50. Average employment rate without training is $13.45. I'd say it's probably a little bit higher by now. I've got to do some homework on this one here, but I'd say it's at least $20 an hour, the average rate after training. But the point of this slide is to show you that you're earning about $5 an hour more once you go through training, and you're getting that career versus just job. So that's what we want you to kind of keep in mind. We're going to now introduce you to this wonderful opportunity called Career Connections Program. What it is it's a 2-week program. You come in, it's a workshop, I guess is what I should call it. You come into the CareerLink building. There's 2 different times that you can attend. You can either attend in the morning from 9:30 to 12:30, or the afternoon session from 1:30 to 4:30. So it's 3 hours per day, Monday through Thursday, where you're going to be meeting with peers, doing this in a classroom setting, and doing things like mock interviews, top 10 interview questions, those personality questions that they give you. If you're a superhero, which one would you be and why? Making sure that you have your elevator speech. So it's a great opportunity for you to perfect those interview skills. So when you walk into an employer, you walk in with confidence versus being very nervous. Employers will pick up on that. The second week is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday networking sessions. They're only 1 hour a week. They'll have an employer come in. Our business services team will come in to introduce themselves. The business services team, they're the ones who are going to help with the employment piece. Again, interview preparation, making sure you go in there a strong candidate when it comes to interviewing, because we want you to stand out from those who did not go through this program. And once you've completed it, then you're going to work more one-on-one with that business services rep. When I talk about one-on-one, what they're doing is they are looking at your resume, and they're out there doing some research for employers that are going to be a good fit for you with your skill set, and also taking into account that background piece. And they will be providing job leads for you to apply to. This is a supplemental activity. If we are uncertain about certain industries that maybe we want some training in, we have some little training exploration modules or online modules related to the industry that you think you're interested in. This is kind of, again, doing a little bit of homework. Some people come right in, they know what they want to work on or what they want to train in, and other people are kind of uncertain. So again, we kind of introduce you to the industry that you think you might be interested in by assigning these little modules. There's also some employability skills modules. I call them life skills modules. Those are modules in things like time management, professionalism, critical thinking, anger control. Those are important in the workplace, but they're also important in everyday aspects of your life. They're important at home. They're important when you're in the CareerLink building. They're important when you're in training. But again, 2 different types of activities going on here. One is industry related and one is those soft skills. Sometimes maybe we'll assign these because maybe you've kind of dropped the ball in some of our training requirements and we're just uncertain if you're going to be a good candidate for the funding. We want to make sure that we are sending those who are going to come out of the training successfully, and how you're going through all the steps prior to training is kind of a good indicator of whether you're going to be successful in that training. So we want to make sure that we're kind of checking things out up front. We do not have unlimited funds, so we want to make sure that those funds are being spent on those who are taking this seriously and who are going to complete it. There's attendance policies and training. So if you miss a certain number of days, they will not allow you to return. So if we see that you're missing things up front, that's a pretty good indicator that you're going to have an attendance issue in training. So sometimes we have a little bit of extra activities to kind of help us figure out should we move forward with those training funds or not. And this will be one of those extra activities. One or both may be assigned. Again, your career navigator is going to determine that. The best way to avoid any of this extra supplemental activity is by communicating with your career navigator, getting things done in a timely fashion, showing up to appointments. If you can't show, we understand. Life happens outside of CareerLink, and we are super flexible. You just need to communicate that with your career navigator or with any of the staff on the reentry team prior to missing something, prior to an appointment, not after. Just communicate with us what's going on and we will get that rescheduled. On the job training. So we can use those same funding dollars we were talking about to get you some on the job training. So there's different ways we can use the funds. That's why we sit down with you and kind of have conversation with you at what we call an IEP, which stands for Individualized Employment Plan. We'll see that down in a couple minutes on these slides as well. But we're going to figure out like what is a good fit for you. Do you just want a job right now because you've got bills to pay? Do we want to go into training and get a certification? Maybe it's a 6-week training, maybe it's a 6 months training. Or we can use on-the-job training dollar, or use the dollars for on-the-job training, where that is, say you find a job that you really like, the employer really likes you, and they say, hey, I just wish you had a little bit more of the skills that we're looking for. What's nice about this on-the-job training opportunity is that the employer can hire you and we will reimburse the employer up to 75% of your wage for up to 6 months. So it's an incentive to the employer to get reimbursed 75% of your wage, and it's an incentive to you because you're earning and learning at the same time. But this is position related. It's not, you don't earn a certification or anything. It's just for a particular position with an employer. We have some employers already lined up for on-the-job trainings positions, or if you have an employer that you have in mind, we can always look into bringing them on board and explain the on-the-job training opportunity to them too. So again, just another way of using those funds for on-the-job training. As you can see, again, 75% up to 75% of your wages. Support and resources that we have both within CareerLink and the community. First one we have is our Lancaster County Reentry Coalition. They offer a mentoring and support group. As you can see, it's offered over at Ebenezer Church on Wednesday evenings. The more you go to and attend any kind of support group, it decreases your chances of recidivism. So I highly encourage you to find a support group that is a good fit for you. You might go to the Wednesday one and say, this isn't for me, and want to find another one. So I can tell you, we also offer one at our building, at the CareerLink building on Fridays from 11 to 12. It's led by one of our career navigators. We can come in there and you can meet the whole entire reentry team. My goal is to have some of you come back in here and speak on behalf of the program and the training that you've gone through and the career path that you now have. But again, find a support group that works for you, whether it's our support group, whether it's one at Ebenezer Church, or if it's neither one of those, find another one, because we want to make sure we're doing those people, places, and things. And these are one of the things that we want to put in your place with some people that are going to assist you and help you and support you and help keep you in the right direction. Tips to know. Please do not let your offense stop you from contacting employers. The best thing we can tell you at this point is to know what's on your record. You have an unofficial record and you have an official record. And these are two of the websites that you can do some research on to pull your unofficial records. I can tell you anybody can pull your unofficial records. All they have to do is go plug in your name, plug in the county, anybody can find them. So it's a good idea for you to know exactly what's on your unofficial record. If you want to know what's on your official record, what you do is you go to the clerk of courts in the county that you receive your charges and get your official records. If you need assistance in reading your records, we do have attorneys that will assist you in reading those. They're kind of tricky, so I call on the experts for that. But again, these two websites, there's a flyer in that folder that I was talking about. I also highly encourage you to Google yourself. You'd be surprised what people find. So You better find out before anybody else does. So when an employer asks you questions, you know how to answer those questions by knowing exactly what's on your record. We want to make sure that you are preparing answers to possible interview questions. Again, another handout in that folder that you can kind of practice. And there's going to be a 4-step strategy we're going to show you in just a couple minutes. And those questions are in this handout so you can kind of practice your answers and how you answer them when you were in an interview. We want you to be able to rattle those answers off instead of having to really stop and think and concentrate, because employers kind of wonder what's going on if you're hesitating. Your resume, application, and interview. Resume. What's a resume? Resume is your marketing tool. We got to get your resume up to par. If we can't get an employer to stop and look at your resume and read your resume, we're never going to get you in front of that employer. So we are going to have you also attend a resume tips workshop. I would highly encourage you to take the advice of our instructors. Your resume is yours. We can't force you to make these changes, but what we do is we find out from what employers are looking for, and then we make sure we bring those ideas to those workshops. So I would take the advice of the instructors, apply them to your resume. If your resume is a very tricky thing for you to do, we have additional workshops and some emails that we can have you send your resume to for critiquing, some one-on-one assistance. So don't let your resume stop you from going through the program. Some people love doing resumes, other people dread it. So we'll assist you with that. Just let us know what your comfort level is with your resume. But we talk about some of the tips such as formatting your resume wisely. Formatting is like the size font, the type of font, your header and your footer. If you're doing paragraphs, or you're doing bullet points, those are all formatting tips. They talk about identifying your accomplishments, not just your job description. So we want to know what you've done. If you hear them talk about what they're looking for in the job description, tell us the skills that you have to meet that job description. Don't just repeat and regurgitate the job description in your resume. When we talk about quantifying your accomplishments, that means putting some numbers to things. The more numbers you can put to something, the better. An example would be, maybe I taught a workshop, but was there 20 people in a workshop, or was there 200 people in a workshop? So any place that you can put a number, please do so. That helps the employer see what your skill set is and comfort level is. And are you going to be nervous around a bunch of people or not? Like I said, if you're teaching workshops for 200 people, that shows that you can be around a lot of people. So they kind of read different things into those numbers that we're going to have you put in your resume. Again, we do have resume tips workshop various times of the month, also one on YouTube. I highly encourage you to come to anything that's in person so you can ask questions. As a last resort, the YouTube videos, because you're not able to interact with any of the staff. Applying for a job. Here's some application tips for you. Please answer truthfully according to the question that's asked. So please take your time, read the question, make sure you know exactly what they're asking so you don't accidentally answer incorrectly. What they think is that you have lied on the application even if you didn't understand what the question was. So an example, if the application asks if you were convicted in the last 7 years and your conviction was 10 years ago, you'll simply write no. Do not add anything more. No, but I was convicted 10 years ago. That's not what they're asking you. Stick to the question and don't answer and volunteer any more additional information. Same with this type of question. If the application asks for a felony conviction and you have a misdemeanor, you're simply going to answer no. You don't say, no, I don't have a felony, but I have a misdemeanor. No, they're simply asking if you have a felony, and you can simply say no. If they ask you to explain your charges on the application, please do not write anything other than "we'll discuss." All right. Sometimes you can write a little bit too much detail in there. What we're trying to get is you in front of that employer so they get to know you as a person. And then we'll have these conversations about what happened. And there's a way to address what happened. But if we can't get you in front of them, we're never going to have the opportunity to explain that and tell that story. So please be mindful. Do not write anything other than "we'll discuss" upon interview. Interviewing. Again, here's an interview tips workshop. We're going to have you attend. It's going to give you some basic ideas what employers are looking for in an interview. Again, make sure you take the instructor's advice. We reach out to these employers to ask all kinds of questions. What do they want in an interview? What are they looking for in a resume? What are they looking for in an application? And we bring those to the workshops. So we have the most relevant information, the most updated information, and we're constantly updating these workshops. What we want you to do, first of all, is build a positive relationship with the interviewer. Okay, we want you to make sure you're concentrating on your qualifications for the position that you're applying for. Do not go in there. If you're having a bad day, I would not recommend going in there and blowing off steam in front of your employer. Maybe you need to reschedule it, but you want to make sure that you're walking in there with a positive attitude and building a positive relationship with that employer, looking them in the eyes, shaking their hand, walking in with confidence. Always try to wait for the interviewer to ask you about your criminal history. Please do not walk through the door and say, just want to let you know I've got something on my background. That is no way to start an interview. Let them get to know you. So when they get to know you and see you and like you, they're kind of surprised. It may be like, oh, I would not have expected that. So let them see the positives in you. Of course, you're going to have to address that at some point, but let's kind of wait towards the end. There's usually a window of opportunity that the employer is going to open for you to say, to disclose what's on your background. Sometimes it could be simply as, okay, our next steps are to run a background check. And that's an opportunity right there. You'll say something like, oh, I just want to be honest with you. You're going to find something, a little blemish on my background. So don't think that they're not going to find out. Don't be afraid to say anything, because what happens when you walk away and you don't say something and they find out, to them, that's just the same as a lie. We don't want them to think of you as a liar. So when you do go into talking about that, you're just going to state briefly. We don't want to give too many details. I know a lot of people get really nervous and they just keep talking and talking. Sometimes you can give too much information and that can deter an employer from moving forward with you. There is a 4-step strategy. Again, this is what I was talking about. There's a handout in that folder. I would highly encourage you to come get that folder so you can kind of practice how you would respond to some of these questions. But an employer might say something like, oh, I see you were convicted of a crime. What happened? Or why should we hire you with a criminal background? And here's the step you're going to follow. 1, you're always going to answer honestly. You don't want to say no and then they find out something. Again, now they think you're lying, okay? So here's an example of what they might ask. Yes, what you might answer. Yes, I was convicted of a crime. I made a mistake in life. I have learned from it and I am committed to moving forward. These are all the positive things and steps I have taken since then. So anything that you can add to your life that or your interview about things that you have done. Do not just make stuff up. Please be truthful, such as these workshops at CareerLink, or the training, or any volunteer work, or any church work, or say you do things for your family members and you take care of, the elderly, your elderly grandparents, anything like that. We want to make sure that they see your human side of you and all the things that you're doing, all the positive things you're doing. Any certifications you may earn. You're going to earn certifications in training. You can take metrics online courses and earn little certificates. So anything that you can bring to the table in this interview, we want to showcase those. So they're looking at the positives versus that negative. We want to make sure that you take ownership, okay? You don't want to blame anybody else. It was your choice, okay? So you made a choice, and that's what ended up landing you with something on your background. So you want to make sure that you talk about how how do you feel about what you did? They might ask you that question. And here's an example of what you might say. I'm not proud of what I have done. I made a mistake and I've learned from it. I am committed to never making a mistake like that again, and I have tried to right my wrongs and give back to the community, family, and friends as much as I can. Please do not use this one word for word. Come up with something that's relevant to you. If it's heartfelt, it's going to naturally roll off your tongue versus using somebody else's answer. The knowledge you've gained, this is step 3. What have you learned and what have you accomplished as a result of this experience? Today, I'm a better person because of my experience. I value my family and want to provide for them the right way. So everybody's motivator is a little bit different. So we want to make sure that you talk about what you've learned and what's kind of motivating you to stay on the straight and narrow. And number 4, what are your future goals? Some of you are a lot of my gentlemen and some of my women will come to me and they want to be a CDL driver. And that's huge. I couldn't do that. That's a big old truck, or welding. You know, they want to be a welder. So let them know what your future goals are to keep you, get you that career path and provide for your family and yourself. Okay. So here's an example. My goals are to secure an honest job or career, save my money, make sure my family is taken care of, send my kids to college, and contribute to my community. Again, practice what you're going to write and how you're going to answer questions like this. But use that four-step strategy. Use that handout that's in your folder. I'm going to talk about the process now. And again, this handout is in your folder as well. So the first one is a series of workshops. This is the first one, landing a job with a criminal background. We mentioned the interview tips workshop and the resume writing tips workshop. You can watch those on YouTube or you can come in person. I highly recommend that you come in person to watch those because you get handouts, you'll get a flash drive for the resume tips one, you get to ask questions, you get to interact. If you decide that you're going to do the YouTube videos, please write your questions down and then you can reach out to the instructors. They will give you information on how to reach out to them so you can ask them the questions in regards to the workshops that you are attending. So again, the first step is those workshops. After that, we're going to get you scheduled for an intake, but we're going to need a resume first. So you're going to take that resume tips workshop, you're going to apply it towards your resume and tweak the resume any way that you can using the tips that were provided. Again, you might not be the best at a resume, but we will make sure that we assist you and meet you where you're at and get some steps in place for you so we can get that resume in the order that it needs to be than what our employers are looking for. So when we do an intake, what that really means is we're going to sit down and do some paperwork. We do not believe in sending packets home with you to fill out and then bring them back. There's a lot of questions on there. Things don't make sense when you see what's PID or what is TANF. We want to make sure that we're sitting there and we can assist you with those types of questions. So we'll fill out that paperwork together. We'll kind of give you a heads up what you need to bring. It could be pay stubs. It could be we'll always need your ID and your social. So we'll let you know, and you'll bring that paperwork in, and we'll take copies for your file so we can get you registered. Again, just more information on that handout as far as when our support group is. And there's that email address I was talking about where you can simply email your address to staff, and they will critique your resume for you. That's another way to have it done if you're feeling pretty confident. Maybe you just need a little bit of editing. So after you do those workshops and get your resume to us and do your intake, your next step is to meet with that your career navigator, and you're going to meet for that IEP. Again, stands for Individualized Employment Plan. So when we say individualized, it's just that. This is not a one-size-fits-all. We're not putting everybody through welding or everybody's a CDL or everybody's sending to the same employer. We're going to have a conversation with you and come up with something that's going to be a good fit for you, your skill set, and your interests. And we're either going to go the employment route or we're going to go the training route, or maybe you need a little job while you're going through training. Again, all part of the conversation we're going to have. If you see you've got that supplemental activity, that's the one we talked about earlier. We might use that if we feel like we need to do some additional activities with you. The employment track over there on the right-hand side, that's that Career Connections program that I mentioned, where it's the Monday through Thursday the first week, and then the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday the second week. And then for those who decide that they're going to go off to training, we're going to present you before our training committee and tell them all the stuff that you've done in the program and how long it's taken you. And so we'll go over some more detail with that. Training's got a few extra steps. I'm not going to get into too much of that right now for those who are not interested. But once you start training, we will check in with you, see how you're doing, check in with your instructor, make sure we're all on the same page and things are going smoothly for you. Okay. Once you have completed your training, or you say you decide you're going the employment route, we are going to make sure that our business services team has your resume, knows what's on your background, knows what maybe you have some additional barriers, could be transportation, could be childcare. The more our business services team knows about you, the better they can assist you in finding an employer that's going to be a good fit for you. We want to make sure that they're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for them. So we do a little bit of homework up front, but our business services team, they will be starting to looking for job leads for you, and they will send them to your career navigator who will then, of course, send them off to you. So anything that you apply for, you're just going to let us know, and we'll follow up with that employer to see how you're doing and seeing if they're going to move forward with you or not. And some extras of our programs. We have some extra benefits. If you are actively working in our program, we can give you a 10-ride bus pass. Again, actively working. That doesn't mean that you just come in every couple weeks and get a new bus pass. That means that you're going through all the steps that we were mentioning. We do have the hard copies of the bus passes, and what we do is we assign one to you, and then we can simply have that refilled as you're running low on the passes. So hold on to them. Don't get rid of them. If you accidentally lose it, let us know so we can stop that bus pass and get you another one. But once you come in for the initial bus pass, you don't need to continue to come in. You just need to reach out to us and let us know that you're running low, and we'll get that refilled for you. If you are in need of clothing, we will make some referrals. We have a number of resources within the community that will assist with stuff like clothing. If you have fines and costs in Lancaster County only, they will honor a 6-month grace period. So you don't have to worry about, oh, they're gonna, pick me up for not paying on my fines and costs. Again, you have to be actively working with us and going through the process, and they will honor that 6-month grace period. The idea is that once you get employed, then you can start paying on your fines and costs again. We do have pardon expungement services. So those of you who have been free and clear of any kind of new charges, they want to see you clear for 5 years. It takes 2 years to go through the pardon process. So we actually start on 3 years and say, hey, stay out of trouble the next 2 years while they're doing all their homework on you. But we can talk some more about that. Just know that we have that. We've partnered with some attorneys and some pre-law students to help us with those pardons and expungements. Supportive services, those would be for things such as, say you need some tools for your training or some scrubs for your training or steel toe boots to start employment. We can assist by paying for those if there is no other alternative for you. We talked about that labor market information. These are different websites. Again, this handout is in that folder that we mentioned, so I would highly encourage you to read what each of these websites has to offer. And if you are a person who likes to do some research, this flyer is going to be very good for you and give you some information that might help you decide the industry you want to go into or the employer maybe that you want to work for. So again, very, very useful information on this handout. ONET is a great one. If you are interested in a job, you can plug in a job and they can tell you like what they're looking for, what kind of training you need, what kind of prereqs they're looking for. Again, take advantage of these websites to do a little bit of homework on yourself. You're investing in your career and in your future, so just do a little bit of homework when you have an opportunity, hop on a computer and check out some of these websites. And so what your next step would be is those other 2 workshops, the interview tips and the resume tips. Again, they're offered through YouTube, but I do encourage you to come in person. They're not offered as often as I would like them to be offered, and I don't want you to be held up by waiting for an in-person workshop that might not be offered for 2 more weeks. So we can always assign those YouTube videos. We simply email them to you. We want to keep you moving through the process. After you've completed the workshops, you're going to reach out to the reentry staff to let them know that you have completed your workshops. In case I don't want you to sit around for 2 weeks waiting to hear from us. We get notifications, but every once in a while we may overlook that notification. So I always say give our staff 2 business days. If you do not hear from anybody, please reach out to our staff and just say, hey, I've done the workshops, or hey, I think I should be scheduled for my intake, so we can keep you moving through the process, okay? We won't be upset. We know that everybody's busy and sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. If you have any questions, I know you can't answer them when you're watching this virtually, but please jot those questions down. You can simply send them to the team, call the team, or email the team. I am the Reentry Services Supervisor. My name is Chris. We have 2 career navigators on the outside of the prison and 2 career navigators on the inside of the prison. We do offer pre-release services. Again, we have that business services rep. That's the person who's going to be providing the job leads to you. And then we always have an intern who's learning this program. And hopefully, wants to continue to go into the social services field after interning for a program like this. It's a wonderful program. They learn a lot. We highly encourage people to apply for our intern positions. Again, thank you for participating, and I look forward to working with you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.